Welcome to Milking the Franchise. This is Tanner.
Hey, I'm Chris.
This is the podcast where we listen to our theme song and then we start the podcast.
Yeah, I mostly just come for the theme song, if I'm being honest with you.
I can just feel you rocking out.
I'm still bumping my head. Yeah.
Chris, what do we do here?
Me and Tanner, we pick a movie franchise and we watch all the movies one at a time. And we kind of talk about how, whatever IP characters in the franchise get inevitably milked until the franchise crumbles. Does that about cover it?
Yeah, that about covers it.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely. We cover some, books and video games as well. Kind of full spectrum of the franchise. Right now, we are at the very end, saying goodbye to Jaws, the final movie, Jaws: The Revenge, this week.
Speaking of crumbling.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Fuck this movie.
Coming hot out the gate. I love it.
Say what you will about the other two ones that are not great either, but fuck this.
Jaws 3 was way more fun than this one.
Yeah, Jaws 3 was actually pretty fun looking back. We like to get people involved in this podcast as well. We have surveys that get people involved in writing prompts and answering questions and kind of making jokes.
Just play along.
You know? What's wrong?
Tanner and I like to make jokes when we talk about bad movies, and we want you to do that with us because we think it'll be more fun.
Absolutely. And we will read your funniest responses on the show, but only the funniest.
Mm-hmm. They better be funny, too.
You know, if we only have 2 responses, I'll read it even if it's not funny. So get in there while you can. Jump in, the water's warm.
That's right.
Look out for sharks. So last week we watched Jaws 3D. Well, first of all, Chris, how are you? How the hell are you?
Oh, thank you for asking, Tanner. I'm good, man. This weekend was a 3-day weekend. Columbia has so many 3-day weekends. So I'm feeling rested. I'm recharged.
What's the occasion? Is it just kind of...
I honestly don't even know. We get all the Catholic holidays, so it's probably some sort of Catholic holiday.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I was also on holiday. Went to a nice cabin in the woods, had it planned for a couple months. And we got smoked out. Not by a bunch of high school kids, but we got smoked out by forest fires.
By climate change. Yeah.
Climate change. Yeah, it was really bad smoking. The only 2 days that we were there was when it was bad.
Okay.
For the whole summer.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah,
that's all right.
It was so much more fun when you get smoked out by high school kids as opposed to
we were looking. We were so bored. We were driving around looking for kids to get us high, but couldn't find any.
Yeah, where else kids high?
But we had fun playing board games and whatnot. So, and watching Farscape. But yeah, that's my weekend.
Love it.
Let's get into the survey responses from last week. Jaws 3D. This movie had a ton of obvious, just super blatant 3D moments. And for the time, it was even more blatant because it looked like it was copied and pasted over another shot.
Mm-hmm. They stand out like a sore thumb. It is really something.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with because it's the TV version of the 3D movie. maybe it looked cool at the time in theaters. But the favorite 3D moment, we got a split here. Jaws exploding and then Jaws breaking through the glass. Both of those moments at the very end.
Very end, yeah. That last 10 minutes, we talked about it last week, but
Yeah.
it sends it off into the sunset, man.
The last 10 minutes were so badly watchable. It was fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
Best Jaws escape tactic. We got dolphins used for swimming.
Ooh,
Good old Cindy and Sandy from
some Cindy and
SeaWorld
Sandy out there.
helping people escape. Best dolphin. Yes, I'm so glad you voted for Sandy because fuck Cindy.
Fuck Cindy.
Fuck Cindy.
Sandy is clearly superior. Yeah.
By far. Also, the movie we rated the system on from Cindy to Sandy. So I don't know if you factored that in when you voted on that one or what, but
honestly didn't at all. But
Sandy was the 5 out of 5. Cindy would be a 0 out of 5.
Okay.
This movie also featured water ski tricks, like a lot of them, lots of shots of water skis. And
I can't get enough of the water skiing in this movie either.
Chris made a whole spreadsheet about it.
Yep.
So
a super cut. Yeah, did the whole thing.
And it's 45 minutes. It's half the movie. That super cut.
Exactly right.
Favorite water ski trick. We got 10 women wide. That's there was 10 women on 10 skis. And then human pyramid, double human pyramid. There was a lot of moments of human pyramids in that one.
Yeah. I wonder if you can still do that. I don't know if we talked about this last week, but could you go to school for that? Do you just like freelance that stuff?
Water ski trick school?
Yeah, how do I do this?
Well, Chris, you got to get out there, get a boat, get a water ski. You got to get a driver. But
there's
besides
sharks.
that, I bet we could find you a group on Facebook or something like that.
Man, I'll be pyramid skiing in no time.
Pyramid scheming? Don't do that.
Oh, sure. Pyramid scheming. Yeah.
How can I get you into my human pyramid today? What is your signature water ski trick? One of our classic prompts here. We got the floppy toppy soppy moppy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's super sexual apparently. What does that entail? Can you tell us a little bit more about your signature trick?
Well, it's pretty floppy. It's very wet, so it's plenty soppy. And if you do it right, it's pretty toppy and moppy as well.
Oh.
Yeah. Does that kind of break it down for you a little bit?
Well, my imagination is running wild, so yes.
That's exactly what I wanted. Let it run.
My signature trick is 18 women wide and me in the middle smiling.
Ooh. Tanner and a harem.
They're carrying me. I can't water ski, so they're like,
okay, cool.
Yeah, they're holding me sideways. What the next question? What 3D gimmick would you do for a Jaws movie? We got Jaws jumping right at you, wide mouth, which I'm surprised they didn't do in that movie. Or maybe
I can't believe they didn't do. Yeah,
it wasn't as
It
obvious.
did have that 1 minute where Jaws was coming towards you, but it was so slow. It didn't really even feel scary.
You're talking about the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, where it wasn't moving, it was just like a flat picture of it.
Yeah.
Coming towards you.
They had the orca jump out of the water kind of like that, but you're right. They didn't do it with a real shark. Yeah.
I think it's because it's animatronic and fake. They couldn't get the shot, probably.
That's true.
I would let's see the next one here. Bite the head off of a swimmer and have it fly at the screen.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then I thought of a tracking shot right behind the fin, like really up close on the fin, like as it's going through the water with the fin poking out. And that fin
that would be cool.
Yeah. And then this is a good one here. Shark penis. Yeah. Everybody wants to see that.
Need I say more? Yeah.
Do sharks have penises? Is it does the shark penis look like?
This is a great question. Are you going to Google it now so we can take a peek?
Yep, you're gonna see it.
Okay,
These sharks
great.
have two penises. That's the first thing I see.
Two penises.
It's similar to a penis. It's called a clasper. So
Oh.
penis adjacent, I guess. All right.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta turn this off. Delete my history. Okay. Oh, and
Tanner's over here watching shark porn.
Jaws 3D was rated 4 out of 5, unanimous vote. Overall, I guess just entertaining because it was so bad in the end, and memorable for sure, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm interested to hear at the end of this. I think at least the last when we did Indiana Jones, we went through and did the like ratings, and I'm really interested to hear
rank
how you rank these movies. You know, I mean after the winner,
yeah, definitely. We will do our ranking. Stay tuned for the ranking at the end.
That's right.
Well, that's the survey. Make sure you follow along, take next week's survey, and we will read your answers on the show.
We'll have some jokes, some laugh 'em ups about Jaws: The Revenge, number 4.
Real bust up. Yeah.
Your sides are going to be splitting all over the place.
Hell yeah. Not from a shark bite.
No. Should we jump in?
Let's jump in. The water is warm. Made that joke twice.
I think it gets better.
It won't be the last.
I think you should lean into it. Yeah. The rule of 3, you got to make it at least one more time.
That's actually my new catchphrase throughout every franchise.
Come on in, the water's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
No matter what the movie is.
Perfect. Yeah.
So the next one, the fourth movie in the Jaws franchise, fourth and final, is Jaws: The Revenge, directed by Joseph Sargent from 1987. The first PG-13 rated Jaws movie, although it seemed about the same or less violent as the others.
Yeah, I would say less violent.
We talked about it during Indiana Jones. That was the catalyst for PG-13. So, it's a timing thing on that. Where do we begin here, Chris? Let me get my notes ready. Why don't you start us off?
No, that sounds great. We begin with Ellen Brody, the wife, and we find out pretty quickly the widow of Martin Brody, who was the main guy in Jaws 1 and Jaws 2. And she is in Amity Island with her younger son. And so we get a couple shots on Amity Island, them popping around. There's like a picture in the police station of Martin Brody just to remind us of the glory days of this franchise when we had characters we cared about.
And he's dead.
Yeah, but his younger son, Martin, his younger son, Sean.
Oh, yeah.
Michael's the one that lives, right?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Sean's about to die. But he is working, Sean has taken a job with the Amity Police Department, and he gets a call kind of late at night. He gets sent out on a boat to clear the channel near Amity Island. And there's like some wood, like some log debris blocking the channel. What happens then, Tim? I'm gonna send it over to you.
Oh, the first outrageous moment of the movie. He's clearing the debris, and out pops Jaws late at night. However many years later this is, probably 15 years, 20 years later. And bites his arm off. And at first it's just a gory, bloody, blood squirting kind of thing, and he's screaming. He got his arm bit off, but the Jaws then I think knocks him off or somehow gets the boat to drown, and he eats him once he's in the water as well, and he dies.
Yeah, a pretty quick death.
the boat sinks, and the mom is further traumatized by the shark.
Yeah.
Little side
Yeah.
note about the Jaws 3D. If you notice, I'm sure you did, that has nothing to do with. They just completely didn't even talk about Jaws 3. Like that's a different split in the franchise, right? In the timeline.
I thought this one, does this one not work as like after that one? Because I had just assumed
With
that
different
one of those
actors.
boys, oh, it is different actors. And Andy's a marine biologist, and he was just like a builder in the last one.
Yeah, and the other one,
So I think you're
his
right. I think it's
girlfriend
like
was
a separate, it's a separate branch on the timeline of this franchise.
yeah, yeah. This is supposed to be continuing more from Jaws 2 rather
Yeah.
than and in Jaws 2 he mentions that the shark is after his family or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like they got Ellen Brody, the Lorraine Gary actress, to come back, and they just went all in on the family stuff,
Yeah.
which is a strange angle to take with a shark movie, but that was the choice that they made.
Yeah. So this, I guess I'll talk about it now. They kind of made it like a Michael Myers-esque character. Like they even had like spooky, like Halloween-y kind of music, where it was like stalking them wherever they go, and he's around every corner, kind of thing. And she was like the Jamie Lee Curtis character, just always worried that he's right around the corner. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So the son dies, and what happens?
Son dies. Older brother and his wife come back from where they're living in Florida for the memorial service, and the mom throws a little hissy fit. She's like super upset. This shark ate her son. She blames the shark for her husband's death, and her older son Sean, Martin. No,
Michael.
What's the last one's name? Michael, thank you. Who lives in Florida. She's convinced that the shark is going to go down there because revenge, and eat Michael because revenge.
Yeah, she mentions it came for him. That was
yes.
It came for him. Yeah, she doesn't want him to work in the water anymore. Of course, she's got a job, as a marine biologist. But yeah, she's like, don't work in the water. Get out of that job. Get a new job. Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
did
he
think it
says,
was strange.
Yes.
I mean, they decided that Martin Brody died of a shark attack or of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they just have him eaten by a shark?
That's the thing. Yeah, they wanted
just
to
make that canon. Like
they said, "Mom, he died of a heart. Dad died of a heart attack." She's like, "It was the fear that killed him.
Mm-hmm.
The fear
Cause
of the
of
shark."
Death, shark fear.
So,
Anyway, she's kind of hysterical. I'll let her off the hook for this. She just lost her son. She's very upset. And
I mean, I'd be scared regardless of an actual shark just being one shark having revenge on your family.
Yeah.
Like, that's silly, but I would be scared of the water anyway. Like, I would not want to live on an island, first of all, or on the beach. Get off go to like Nebraska or something.
My family versus a shark, 4v1, we're gonna lose. All four of us are dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shark is defeating my family. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's very,
maybe she's right to freak out.
Yeah, just in general, stay away from the water, but the shark revenge thing is crazy. Did we do the funeral scene yet?
No. Jump in on the funeral scene.
Well, I just thought it was. I'm pretty sure he was reading lyrics from the Bird song "Turn, Turn, Turn."
That was
just,
a long monologue. I didn't write it down, but
it's
you're
so
right.
just slow and melancholy. For the first 20 minutes of this movie is just like dealing with grief. I don't know if they were trying to make another like Oscar-worthy movie or not, but did not happen.
It didn't help you process any childhood drama?
No.
Okay. Instead of going to a therapist, I just watch the first 20 minutes of Jaws 4 once a month, and I call it good,
Yep. It works.
Yeah. It works. Yeah.
Well, Michael Caine cheers me up every time.
Oh, I do. Yeah. When he popped in, it did brighten my day a little bit. do you have anything else on the funeral?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So at the funeral, Ellen's older son, Michael, who's there with his adorable little daughter and his beautiful wife, convince Ellen to come visit and stay with them in Florida while she kind of like processes Sean's death. And so she agrees. And so they leave Amity Island for the first time in the franchise. Nope, that's a lie because the last one was in Florida. They leave Amity Island to go to Florida. And who's flying that plane, Tanner?
It's Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. It's the Bahamas, is it not?
Oh, you're right. It is the Bahamas. Yeah,
They're in
my
the
bad.
Bahamas. Yeah, living. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they get to the Bahamas. She's a Bahama mama now.
Oh yeah. Did you write that joke down?
I wrote it. It took him a whole page to write that down.
Good. It was worth it. It totally landed.
I didn't catch how they knew Michael Caine, or if they had just met him on this flight or not. Did you catch that?
It seemed like he was just the pilot.
He's just the pilot, I guess. Yeah.
I think, but then I don't know. I will talk about him crashing his plane later. That's not something just a pilot would just do for people that he just met. Like that was crazy.
No, well, he was. Well, yeah, he liked her lady bits, you know.
He did want those lady bits.
So they have Michael Caine as a pilot, but they have another funny chauffeur here, the limo driver on the way to the house. They have like a limo driver on the way to their house or something, and he's like singing them Christmas songs over the speaker in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Really, just like these rich ass white people in this tiny little shanty town is what is happening here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ellen is still freaking out. At one point, the little granddaughter is swinging on a swing on the dock, and she just like loses her shit and starts screaming at the granddaughter, "No swinging! You have to come in from the water." She has a nightmare about the shark. It doesn't really seem like their plan to bring her to the Bahamas is really like helping her cope. To me,
yeah, no. A lot of the like you mentioned the dreams thing here. A lot of the scary moments in the first hour happen in dream moments.
Yeah,
like it's between her and the son. I know.
Yeah,
it's really. I think they're trying to go for like the psychological aspect of it all.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, and there's one more huge cop out that we'll talk about at the very end, but I don't want to tip our hand on that quite yet. Okay. But yeah, we also meet. Yeah, it's kind of in this point we meet the other characters. So Michael is working as a marine biologist, and his like partner in his marine biology company is Mario Van Peebles playing someone named Jake.
Yeah,
and he
with a full-on Bahamian accent.
Such a Rasta. He's just so Rastaman, like such a patois.
Yeah.
It is way over the top.
Oh, also Michael Caine's character name, Hoagie.
I saw that in the credits. It says, and Michael Caine as Hoagie. And I was like, they named that motherfucker Hoagie? Like,
yeah, he kind of has a Hoagie vibe, though.
He does have a Hoagie vibe in here. Yeah.
Yeah. Looking like a snack.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Him with a full head of hair. He was a good looking younger guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take a bite of that Hoagie.
Yeah, what do we get some like working scenes? They're like studying giant snails, him and Jake.
Yeah. There's also like a Christmas scene in there. There's a lot of like unconnected scenes that just kind of like pop up and then go away. But yeah, they're doing some important snail research in the Bahamas.
Of course. Yeah, a lot of these boring scenes are just them kind of doing their regular stuff, and like there's scenes of the mom kind of flipping out, but then being okay and hanging out with the grandkid, and I feel like that just kind of goes on for the first 45 minutes.
Yes, I do think we should talk about Ellen's like spider sense for shark sense, if you will, because it is so stupid and it's so specific. It's just I don't know. I find it so lazy because whenever like they need to foreshadow the shark, they just have Ellen have like a little meltdown moment. And then,
are you referencing when Jaws came and attacked the boat and it shows her just like staring off in the distance.
Yes.
Cuts to her. Yeah.
Yeah, it, like
She
not
can
seeing
feel.
the boat. Like,
She
yeah,
can feel the Jaws attacks.
yeah. There's like a Jaws disturbance in the universe, and she's like plugged into it or something.
It has a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a scene in here where Michael Caine takes Ellen on a flight to some other little island with a festival to cheer her up. Michael and Jake are
He
doing
makes
their
her fly the
important
plane
snail.
too. Like he makes her take the wheel. He's doing all sorts
Yeah.
of crazy flying this entire time.
He's a real maverick,
Yeah, yeah.
a real Sully Sullenberger. And at one point in here, we see Jaws. Michael and Jake run into Jaws. So the implication being that this shark has followed them from Massachusetts all the way to the Bahamas and got there in like a day or two.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
like
they swim pretty fast, Chris.
You're right. This movie franchise has established that sharks swim fast. So I should not have second guessed that.
That's why they cut out Shark 3D, because in that movie the shark swam very slow. And they're like, we can't have that. That's not canon.
This isn't part of the franchise. Yeah, we got to cut that out of there. Yeah, so Jake is down in this little submersible, and Michael is up on this barge where they're doing their snail research, and we get kind of a Jaws attack. Nobody dies, but the shark like attacks the barge that Michael is standing on, and he makes Jake promise not to tell his mom.
Yeah.
You know, like,
don't tell my mommy.
When was the last time you made someone promise not to tell your mom something?
It's been a while.
Have you done it as an adult man? I thought that.
Trying to think, maybe, but it was probably like, don't tell mom that I accidentally burnt the turkey or something. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Something small like that.
Yeah. But his strategy is to keep the shark completely secret from his mother, so she doesn't, like, I don't know. If a shark followed you from Massachusetts, she has every right to freak out at that point, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's not wrong, unfortunately, because the movie, that's what is happening in the movie, I guess. But it is I mean, yeah, he just didn't want her to freak out, I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of a boring shark attack scene. He's kind of grappling with like stress for a while there when he's back home. He's having nightmares about Jaws and yeah.
Like Tanner said before, some of the scariest scenes are in nightmares, and we get a good one with Michael.
Yeah, like cop out shit. What happens in that dream?
I don't even remember.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. If you want to know, watch this movie. Suffer through it like we did. After that, they did have one funny scene in here at a casino.
Yeah.
There was only one scene there, and it seemed to be just to prove that Hoagie, Michael Caine, has a gambling problem. But it's at like a really nice big casino, and then they never revisit it.
That's why they had the scene in there, you think?
I don't know. Like, why else?
I think it was showing they were kind of growing a connection towards each other, right? The wife and
I guess that's true. He was hanging out with
and Hoagie.
Yeah.
And he's like filled with jokes. He's like the Dom DeLuise of this movie. He's just always got a quip, always got a dumb little line.
Big time.
Yeah. Anyway, he says in this scene I wrote down, I knew a one-armed piano player once. Took 2 minutes to play the 1-minute waltz. And everybody laughs.
Also wrote that down. It didn't make any sense in context. It made no sense. He just said that.
I know.
Yeah.
But all the things he says in this are just like random quotes like that. Something about like, I got picked up by headhunters, he says in the plane, and kind of trails off on some story. Like, maybe they're just trying to set up that he's some adventurous man and has lived a crazy life and knows all these little, you know what I mean? Or
yeah,
there's all these little quips and yeah.
If your name was Hoagie, wouldn't you go on lots of adventures?
I want to know how we got the name Hoagie.
We didn't hear that story.
He doesn't tell that one, I'm sure.
That's true. Yeah, that's for his ears only.
I think this is also the scene when she changes her tone. You know, they're with all their friends and everything, and she's like having a good time. And she's like, I think she dances with Michael, right? I'm getting a little feedback. From your mic, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
But she says, "Show your mother what a good dancer you are," which I just thought was a weird phrasing. Dance
Very
for
weird
mommy.
phrase.
Dance for mommy.
I also
and then-
thought their relationship as a mother and son was kind of weird in a couple ways. I also thought it was weird how, I mean, Michael was cockblocking Hoagie so hard at this point in the movie. And it's like, I don't know. My mom has never dated, but like, I feel like I would just be happy for her happiness and not like, and like trust her to make her own judgment calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
You know, yeah. I think people deal with that differently for sure. And maybe it depends on the circumstance of what happened with your parents or whatever. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Happy for her to move on and be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now she basically, she's okay. She's like, oh, she's like smiling when she says it. Of course I'm like, I'll never forget about your brother's death, but I'll be okay, kind of thing. She's like, she basically says that it's okay for him to work in the water now.
Yeah, she finally accepted it's not shark vengeance. She had some crazy line in there that's so specific, like, I have finally realized that the shark isn't after us, but Michael knows that it was after them, and it's here in the Bahamas. I don't know. Very weird.
Crazy. Insane. It's insane.
Just insane.
It's a terrible plot. I can't even.
It's a terrible plot.
Fuck this movie, man.
Yeah, there's some like family drama around that, but the whole thing is so like it's just not how people treat each other. I don't know. The whole thing is weird.
The whole everything's bad. Yeah.
Yes.
And not like bad. Like Just 3D was fun bad. This is just like drab and fucking boring and ugh.
Yeah, and it's in the Bahamas. It should be beautiful.
Exactly.
Like, what are we doing here?
So I think the next scene, he goes on the boat with Jake, and Jake is making a transmitter for Jaws because he saw the attack and was like, "Oh shit, there's a great white here. They never come to the Bahamas. We're tracking the shit. We're studying this shit."
Yes,
and I guess
he wants to do that instead of their boring snail research.
I mean, it does sound more fun.
Way more fun.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else there. They're kind of setting that up. He doesn't really fight back, does he?
Oh, Michael?
Yeah. Like
he does initially, but then he kind of like he gives in pretty quick that he'll
like he doesn't want to admit that he's scared of it or that it's attacking the family or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like it should be fine, but it's not.
Yeah.
I also wanted to. There's a quick scene after this, somewhere around here, where his wife is like making art for somewhere on the island, right?
So if you want to call it that,
exactly. Really shitty thing. Early on, it kind of looks like a shark mouth that's open, but it's like an abstract art piece. I don't know if that's what she's going for, but at one point he stares at it for a while and is kind of like. I got the impression that it was supposed to be reminding him of a shark's mouth.
Okay, that would make sense. I don't know what else it was. I thought it had the word love written in it at one point when it showed it later, and it was red.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
But either way, it looks really dangerous and not that good.
Yeah,
like it looks like a child would hurt itself on this bad piece of art. Was all I could think about when they were unveiling.
It's just like a red metal kind of circular, just abstract art thing. It's impossible to describe, but
I think you nailed it.
He's talking to her in there while she's welding or whatever, and they're having little like flirty games. And he says, "I've always wanted to make love to an angry welder," and then.
I've dreamed of nothing else since I was a small boy. I also wrote down that line. What the fuck,
about that
dude?
last part. Yeah, that line got me.
Yeah.
And then they make love with the door open.
They sure do. They sex.
They sex.
Uh-huh.
Where are we? Where are we here? Where do they go next?
And then, yeah, it kind of cuts back and forth between two. There's kind of two main storylines going on here. Michael and Jake keep going out and kind of doing their snail slash shark research, and then Ellen is spending quality time with Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Yep, and the next day out on the boat, they managed to stick the shark with a beacon. So Mario Van Peebles' character manages to stick the shark with some sort of transmitter, and so when it gets close to the boat, it sends out like a stronger signal, and they can track how close this shark is from the boat. And that comes up a couple times later. At that point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's just basic. I mean, they've done it in a couple of, or at least one of the other movies. They track them, right?
Yeah.
It might even be the first movie. Yeah.
Kind of what the barrels do.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think there's just some more like Dreaming of Jaws. I don't really have much for the next little bit. What about you?
There's one weird scene where Ellen is talking to Michael's wife about Hoagie and about like her sex life, and that struck me as kind of a weird conversation to have with your daughter-in-law. But to each their own.
The daughter says, "I hope when I'm older, my sex life is. I plan to have a great sex life into my 60s or something like that."
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm kind of with you. There wasn't a ton through this part of the movie. Let's see. Michael Caine hits on Ellen, proposes they do a trip together.
He says, "Oh yeah, they have like dinner." He says, "I'm a pilot. My vision is perfect."
That was such a weird line. Well, her line was even weirder because she just goes, "You sure you don't need glasses?" When he asked her out, and
she thinks
like, but okay, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever. Okay. Does she not think she's like on Hoagie level?
Oh yeah, I mean Hoagie. She's like, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of girls who would go with you. And he's like, oh, there are, but
who'd get down on that Hoagie. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So the next thing I've really got is we're back on the sub again with Jake and with Michael.
Yeah.
Is that kind of where you're at?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The Michael is down below, like tagging snails, and meanwhile, up on the boat, the tracker starts going crazy, which means the shark is coming. And Michael manages to escape by swimming from the submarine to a nearby shipwreck. Thank goodness that was there, right?
Yeah, he does the scuba scurry into an old sunken boat. Yeah, it
breaks the. I like
that. Yeah, it breaks the little sub that he's in. It like bites it, and he gets out in a scuba tank and gets in the old boat again. And he uses the scuba tank. He like knocks the pressure valve off of it or whatever it is, and he holds onto it, and it thrusts him upwards out of the water. And then what happens next here?
He did get a bite on the arm during that scene too.
Oh, he did. Yeah. I was wondering how he hid that from his wife, because I think after that scene, he just kind of wakes up and his arm is all bloodied, and he's laying in bed sweating. Can't sleep. Jaws will eat me is what I wrote down.
Yeah. And then they go back to work the next day, and he's about to go in the water, and Mario Van Peebles is trying to tell him, like, you don't have to go. And he goes, I'm scared shitless. What the hell am I supposed to do if I can't get back into the water? And in my mind, I was like, dude, like, wait 2 days. Like, you don't, like,
yeah,
you don't have to go today. Like, just let the shark, like, leave or let someone catch it. Like, you don't have to go today.
Yeah, let Peebles do the shark stuff, and you can stay home and come back when the snails are biting.
Yeah, take a day. You know, like, take a mental health day.
Take a day.
You know?
Yeah.
Take a day. But anyway, it's really important to him that he gets back in the water right away to continue his important snail research. Yeah. And yeah, he jumps back in. Let's see, the boys. Oh, in also, like, they could have just skipped that because they're dedicating his wife's terrible piece of art at the city center, and they're late to get back to the dedication for the art.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
this
do you
is
want
a
to talk
great
about this
unveiling.
dedication speech? It was
Oh,
quite an unveiling.
I don't
Yeah.
have much here. No.
Okay.
What happens?
Oh, well, I just thought it was ridiculous. It gets interrupted mid. It was set up like an acceptance speech. Like the mayor says something, and then she comes up, I guess, to talk about her piece of art. And mid speech, Ellen freaks the fuck out, like with her shark
Sense.
shark spidey sense. Yeah, thank you, her shark sense. Because Thea, the adorable little granddaughter, has gone on a banana boat.
Yeah.
And
she freaks out before Jaws comes, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's this scene of a bunch of kids on a banana boat getting pulled behind a speedboat. So like,
It's actually a banana. It's not just
it's
a type of boat. It's like an
right, it's a
inflatable
giant
banana.
inflatable banana. Yeah, and there's like 4 kids or 5 kids sitting on it, and the one on the very end, shark food, gets totally nibbled up.
Gets bit on the leg. Another traumatized Brody child.
Yep.
Yep. But
Part
she
of the
gets
family
off.
lore.
Yeah. She gets off the boat. Oh, that's the next sequel. That should be the next sequel. She's all grown up and it comes back for her again.
There we go.
Yeah, and she has another shock attack, which she's in shock here, the child.
Mm-hmm.
And this sends what's her name? Ellen Brody out on a boat into the water to chase Jaws down herself. At least I think that's what she's doing.
I think that, yeah, they didn't really cover that. I wasn't sure why she was out there alone, but I think you're right.
Like
I think she has decided.
She plays it like a suicide mission, like kill me, he wants me, that kind of thing. Like take me, don't take my family, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why it would be after her at all. It's just because, first of all, why it has revenge on the Brody family because they killed the Jaws in the first one. Is that what it's supposed to be? And
I think so.
Supposed to be like it's son or brother or whatever.
They didn't really expound upon that, or maybe, I mean, or it could have been the shark from Jaws 2
that they didn't kill.
Well, but no, it had the big face scar, so I feel like they would have shown that if this was supposed to be the same one. But the implication was that one was getting revenge for the killing in Shark 1.
Yeah.
And then this one is like, yeah, I guess there's a whole family of them or something.
A whole family, and it's like, you kill my daddy, and I'm going to kill your whole family now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is honestly kind of what the humans are doing in this movie.
Wow. You just blew
my mind. Yeah. Who's the real shark, Tanner?
Oh, my God. They deserve it, is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying, yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so she's she takes the boat, the cruise boat, Jake and Michael's boat, and heads out into the water. Let's see. They enlist Michael Caine to fly them around looking for her. And they find out that he delivers laundry on the side to pay his bills.
Don't know why they needed to include that, but you're right.
Yeah. And so they end up finding her. So I realized during this scene, and we'll get to it more at the end too, that Jaws NES game that I played, it came out in 1987 when this came out. And I was wondering, all the things just seem so random, but a lot of it's taken from this movie specifically, because it's like, you're like deep sea diving and collecting like things from snails or like other fish and stuff like that. And then you're collecting shells. That's right. And then you have a plane that you're bombing things from above for bonus points. And the ending scene is like, well, I'll get to it in a second, but it's exactly like the game.
Okay.
No. But yeah, so she's like, "Come and get me, you son of a bitch." She's kind of goading the shark to come at her. And then what happens next, Chris?
Dude, Hoagie just crashes the plane. Just like
Into the water.
again, he's not like part of the family. He's not her son, and she made the decision to take this boat out to like take on the shark or whatever. And Hoagie's plane is like a little island hopper, but it is not a seaplane, and he decides to just crash it into the ocean.
Well, Chris, you've never crashed a plane or wouldn't crash a plane to get laid?
I mean, maybe. I mean, Ellen Brody is a total smoke show, so I guess I hadn't taken that into account. But yeah, it. I saw that and I was like, "What is he thinking? That is a crazy, crazy plan." More Sully Sullenberger, though. You know, putting the plane down in the water. Absolutely.
He was inspired by this movie.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, he was a big Jaws 4 fan.
Big Hoagie guy.
Big Hoagie guy. Yeah. Yeah, so I crashed the plane, and then the boys hop out of the plane. So like Jake and Michael swim over to the yacht where Ellen is having like flashbacks from the first two Jaws movies.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. And there was a funny scene when they got out of the plane, like, swim for the boat, you'll be fine. And then one of them literally goes, sharks are attracted to the electromagnetic impulse of the metal on the plane. What does that mean, Tanner?
I don't know. I wrote that down too.
What insane movie logic. We're just supposed to accept that?
Yep. It's a throwaway line that makes it, that ups the suspense, I guess.
I guess, man. Just so insane.
Yeah, Jaws then bites the plane and takes it underwater with him.
It's probably because of all the electromagnetic impulse on that plane. I mean, any idiot could have seen that coming.
How could you not go after it with all that?
You know, dude.
EMI,
yeah. Sharks love that
Hoagie
stuff,
is in the plane still. But he's okay.
But he's okay. The implication is definitely that he died, but then he pops up on the side of the boat like 30 seconds later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when he comes out, he gets up and they pull him up on the boat after he gets out of the plane, and he says, bloody hell, the breath on that thing. Like he's got a
one-liner for it.
Yeah, and he was like, that implies that he was like in the mouth too. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just the legend of Hoagie. There's got to be a spinoff.
Yeah, did Hoagie get his own movie? That's what the sequel after this should be. The
Adventures
Hoagie
of Hoagie. Yeah.
Yeah. The lead up to that. That'd be great. Anyway, yeah. So, and then we haven't even talked about the plan. Their plan here is insane.
Well, this is gonna be a large. Yeah, I don't understand even what's happening here.
Neither do I. Like, we talked about how the death, because you need a death plan to kill the monster. And so in the first one, they shot the scuba tank to explode the monster. Incredible. Great cinema. In the second one, it was the underwater, like, electrical line.
Yep.
Also good. I will even give that good.
Pretty good.
Third one was the guy holding a hand grenade who hadn't been chewed up in his mouth. They pulled out the pin and he blew up. Not great.
He was holding the grenade in the mouth of the freaking shark. A dead man. Yeah.
Yeah. But their plan here is to put a flashing light inside the shark's tummy and confuse him by flashing a light inside his tummy. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he's got one flashlight inside of the shark swallows. They get him to swallow it, and then the other one is like they're controlling each other. So he lights it up, and every time he lights it up, the shark jumps out of the water. Right? For some reason, the shark like reacts to it and like jumps out, like makes itself seen.
Wait, so I'm supposed to believe that flashing that light makes the shark jump out of the water,
yes,
like on command.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's even worse than I thought it was. Okay, continue.
What did you think it was?
I just thought that was their plan,
that.
And then it like wasn't really work. It was like pissing the shark off, and then they hit it with the boat.
I think it is. It's like just irritating. It's just like, get that light out of my eyes. No, yeah, it was something inside of it. Oh, by the way, the Jake gets like eaten as he's trying to get the light inside of Jaws. So He's like being held out over the bow. Is it the bow of the ship?
He's like up in the mast, isn't he? He's like on the.
Well, he's like the front like wood piece that kind of goes forward off the end of the boat, whatever that's called.
Sure.
Yeah, he's like planking off of that, like walking the plank off of that, and drops it in his mouth, but then immediately falls in and gets like bit by the shark.
Gets eaten. He
gets full on eaten.
Yeah. It shows him. There's one scene where he's like dangling out the two sides of the shark mouth, being drowned. He's been
eaten alive.
For sure died.
He gets eaten worse than the guy who got swallowed alive in Jaws 3D. Like that guy. Yeah, this guy gets actually fucked by the shark.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to spoil it now, but he comes back at the end.
We should spoil it now.
Yeah. He ends up at the very end is just kind of like, oh, I'm okay. He swims up.
Michael, come help me. He's just like, what the fuck? What a cop out. You know, they kill off. Is that the only likable character that they killed off? Like, we barely met Sean Brody.
Yeah.
And then they walk it back.
They walk it back. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk more about this strobe thing, because it's called, so in the video game that I was talking about, NES, the NES game. So you're cruising around collecting snails and attacking Jaws. Once you get it down to like 0 HP, then it goes in this final fight scene where it's like the front of the ship, just like in this movie, and Jaws swimming up and around, and you hit the button. It's called strobe, is what it says. And when I was playing it, I'm like, what the fuck is the strobe thing? I don't understand. And you press like X or A or whatever, and it would jump out of the water every time you hit strobe. So then you try to time it and like stab the shark as it's jumping up. So you strobe it, jumps, and then you stab it with the front of the boat. So that's exactly what happens in this movie.
Okay. Thank you. That actually does help me understand it a little better.
I mean, I don't understand the logic of the strobe effect at all. All.
No.
But they edit it. I don't know what version of this movie you saw, by the way, but they edit it really just poorly, where it's just kind of jumping out of the water, and then all of a sudden it rams into the front and explodes. Right? Is that what you saw?
Yes, I want to give a little more context, though, because we're also getting these extreme close-up shots of Ellen Brody's face, who's driving the boat. Yeah. And then a lot of flashbacks of her husband and her son. So it's like meant to be this like cathartic vengeance movie, vengeance moment for her to kill this shark that was like after her family. But you're exactly right. It is so poorly shot. Like,
and she's seen scenes of like she didn't see him say, because they show the famous line, "Smile, you son of a bitch," or whatever.
Yeah.
She wasn't there to see that. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah. You are 100% right. You would think it would have shown like some of the moments of them being together as a family, or a moment she was there for. At all. But no, they picked. Yeah. They picked "Smile, you son of a bitch," and I think they might have even shown her son on the boat from earlier in this movie.
Yeah, I think so. The kid that gets killed. Yeah. It's very anticlimactic. It's just kind of, he's hitting the light thing, it jumps out of the water, gets stabbed and blows up instantly. The boat kind of gets rocked. They all fall off into the water.
Why did the shark explode, though?
Exactly. It's so crazy.
It's baffling. Yeah.
It's baffling.
If you ran a boat into a shark, the shark would be fine.
Well, here's the thing that I was going to say about what version you saw. So there's an alternate ending, and I sent it to you on WhatsApp, I believe. But it's an alternate ending where it's kind of edited more slowly, and it looks maybe a little cheesier, but you can see it just happen. It's more like slow motion, where like they flash the light, Jaws jumps up, and then she turns the boat and it stabs it, and you see a clear like stabbing, and that's it. It just stabs the shark and it dies on the edge of the boat. And that, like, the force of the because Jaws is so big, it pulls the boat down into the water, and that's when everyone falls off. It doesn't explode at all. And in the alternate ending, apparently Jake doesn't come back at the very end.
Good.
But yes, I know.
Like, what a cop out to bring him back. Like, it just feels so lazy, because you get the emotional reaction of watching your favorite Rasta bro, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
gobbled up by a shark. But then to
I
just
know.
undo that just because he's like, just to make a happy ending, it's such a cop out.
It's weird because apparently the one where he dies is the one that was in theaters in the US and everything, and like then they changed it later, maybe on TV or something. I'm not sure.
Maybe there's just a lot of Mario Van Peebles fans out there.
I mean, I'm one of them, you know?
Yeah. Among their number.
I don't know what else he's really been in, but I'm a fan.
Sure.
But yeah. Anything else about this ending you want to talk about?
Man, yeah, it's wild that Jake is okay. So the shark exploded. Jake was in its stomach, right?
Jake was being fully eaten, blood everywhere.
And he's just fine now.
He's mostly fine. He's in the hospital at the end, but like he's fine. Yeah.
Did Hoagie and Ellen ever actually get together?
Well, she flies off with him
at the end.
Doesn't she fly back with Hoagie at the end of the movie?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, you're right. She does.
I don't know.
He's making his dumb jokes as the credits start to roll. You're totally right. Yeah.
The whole credit scene is like, well, no, not the whole credit scene, but yeah, he's kind of making his jokes as the movie fades out.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the end of the game where they fly off in a plane. So I guess, yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
If you want to see me play that game, it's going to be on YouTube, by the way. I did a little edit of it. Yeah. But, yeah, so that's kind of the end of the movie, right? Did I miss anything?
Yeah, that's it. No, I think we got it all.
Oh.
Yeah.
This time it's personal. That's the tagline for this movie, Chris.
Did you feel like it was more personal because this movie wasted 2 hours of your time, Tanner?
I hated this movie. I felt like it was personal because they kept making sure I knew that it was personal in the movie, you know. Like, just so you don't forget that he's specifically attacking this family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need to make. We talked about this before with the face scar. You don't need to make a giant shark scarier. Like it's already there.
It's already scary. Yeah.
Like why does it have to attack your family? It's a giant shark.
So in this one, it's scarred face. Is this version of it? Is it like it's revenge plot? Is that the version of that? Is that what's making it scarier? Right.
I guess, right?
Like stalking them. Yeah, it's like Michael Myers now.
Yeah.
They really did add Halloween music, kind of like that little like piano sound. Wasn't exactly the same, but they added those sound effects to the Jaws score in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. What do you think, Chris? Do you have any MVPs or you got any beef with this movie?
Man, I got a lot of beef. It's just so boring. Like, how do you make a shark movie this boring?
Yeah.
And everything that the movie wants us to care about, which is like Michael lying to his family and Ellen's mental health, are just things that I don't really care about. And I don't know. We talked before about how they should do one in a different location, but I don't think it made any difference. I don't think they really used the Bahamas very much. It just was like prettier. It was like sunshinier than it would have been in Massachusetts.
Yep.
I don't know. What did you think? It's not great. I have a lot of beef.
It's terrible. Yeah. If I had to pick an MVP of the movie, I guess it'd be Hoagie. Just for keeping it light and having one like anchored actor in the movie was nice.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Ellen Brody is a very good actress. And everything else, the beef, it's so slow. It's just so boring and nothing happens. There's hardly any death scenes. You know, I was expecting, I was like...
There's like 3 shark attacks. Like real ones, right?
Yeah, then there's the dream ones.
Yeah.
So...
And somehow the practical effects have gotten worse. I swear the shark was scarier in Jaws 1 than it was in Jaws 4. And it's like...
It could be just because they don't show it in Jaws, you know? It's the...
That might be, but I mean, that's a lesson that they should have taken away, right? Like...
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You would think.
Yeah, maybe they thought since we have a better we have better special effects now. Maybe we should show
Yeah.
more because we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty pathetic. I thought for sure in the last 30 minutes we were gonna get like just a barrage of craziness, but it never really happens. The final scene is insane, and the plan is wild. I kind of want to read more about it and see what the strobe was supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Does that work on sharks? Like, I just don't even know.
I need to know, because if ever I'm faced with one, I'm gonna next time I go swimming.
And you have a Rasta Martin Van Peebles with you, you can just throw a strobe in the water. I think that's a great play.
Well, yeah, I'll bring a strobe light with me anytime I go swimming or fishing.
Yeah.
So
let's see.
MVP
for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to come up with one.
Sure.
I think Hoagie is a good answer. I kind of liked the new actor they had for Michael. I thought he was fine. Maybe the banana boat.
Okay.
I think that was one of the funniest scenes for me, like the idea of Jaws chasing one of those. So the banana boat itself, I think, was my MVP.
I'm going to add the MVP to strobes, just in general as a concept.
Good,
strobe
yeah.
lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this movie was made for 23 mil, and it made 51 worldwide, which isn't great. I think the metric is that it needs to make at least double its estimated budget with marketing and all that to become profitable. So maybe it just barely made its money back, and I'm sure that was just due to name recognition.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
This was not a word of mouth movie.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
So yeah, it killed the franchise successfully. Successfully milked it dry. The Jaws name lives on.
There's no shark milk left.
Have you ever had shark milk?
Actually, because we talked last week about sharks being fish, don't fish not have milk? I think that's a mammal thing.
Wait, did we decide which one did we decide? Is sharks are fish, right?
Sharks are fish. And I don't think fish have
no milk. No milk. No.
Yeah, no milk. Okay. Yeah. But yes, I've had shark milk, of course, Tanner.
Okay, good. I mean,
it makes me feel strong like a man.
Technically, almonds don't have breasts either, but we have almond milk.
This is a great point.
So what makes my question is, what makes a milk a milk?
Oh man.
It's like what's the difference between a hot dog or a sandwich, or like a sandwich and a pizza?
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Yeah, it's a great question.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? It's like that question. Is almond milk? Like what makes it milk? That's a question for this podcast going forward.
Well, we do talk about milk a lot, so I feel like it fits. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think milking is a verb. Now that I think about it, it's like milking is just like whatever you like. I don't know. Press on something till it's all out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're squeezing those udders until there's nothing.
Yeah. So you could squeeze a shark until it produces. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. You get the idea. More on that topic another time.
Yeah.
Yeah, killed the franchise.
Man, rest in peace. Yeah.
I know. Such a good one. Well, do you want to do our ranking of the Jaws movies?
Yeah, I would love to.
Why don't you begin?
I think mine's ready. You know what? You got your 4?
Yeah, I'm ready. I already wrote it down.
Okay, cool. Number 1, Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I think for me was Jaws 3D. The bad movie stuff in that one was so bonkers that it was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
3, Jaws 2, and then this one was my least favorite.
I had the same ranking.
Okay.
Yeah, Jaws 3D was definitely just more fun than 2. Although, as far as bad movie hilarious moments go, I will say Jaws 2 with the girl lighting herself on fire and blowing up the
Right.
boat was maybe my favorite moment in all 4 movies.
Oh my god! And it still did have Martin Brody, and I still
Yeah,
think he's a great actor and brought a lot to the first 2
true,
movies. So
true.
maybe, I mean, I would
I know
accept
what you mean, though.
2 over
Yeah,
3, but
I
I
think
think I just enjoyed
3D
watching.
overall just like brought a smile to my face, and there were so many boring moments in Jaws too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, fantastic. Anything else you want to talk about while we wrap up Jaws, the franchise?
I did have a chance this week to finish the book.
Yes.
And I don't have a ton of new stuff. I talked during our Jaws 2 episode about the first 3/4 of the Jaws book and how horny it is and how inappropriate Ellen Brody's relationship with Hooper was. I didn't mention, and I won't delve too deep into it, but there's some weird like racial tensions that the author kind of touches on. But I finished it this week, and yeah, man, it was different than the movie, and so I think what I really want to talk to you about, Hooper gets killed. Spoiler alert for a book that came out 40 years
Whoa,
ago.
really?
But yeah, Hooper gets killed, and
Oh, Hooper.
before Quint,
Gotcha.
and it read like kind of a cop out because like they Hooper had an affair with Brody's wife, and then there was all this tension between the two of them, and so I kept waiting for there to be some sort of like confrontation between the two of them, and it didn't happen because the shark ate Hooper, and it was just
Gotcha.
like. Yeah, and so it was that scene. They used the scene in the movie where he's diving in the shark cage, and Jaws like pushes himself into the shark cage. In the book, he gets Hooper and eats him.
Crazy.
And it was also after Hooper had like a moment where he touched the shark and like felt its immense power and the power of nature. Because he's supposed to be like a naturalist or whatever. And that was the biggest difference. Quint. Oh well, and then the last. It ends with Quint getting killed. Not in quite as badass of a way. He gets tangled up in a rope and pulled underwater by Jaws. But Jaws escapes in the book. He does not get caught or killed.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
So what happens at the end? Like, do they?
Brody puts his head underwater. Brody survives. He puts his head underwater and watches Shark as he watches Jaws as it like disappears into the dark water, and then he swims back to shore. And that's the end of the book. Yeah.
Crazy.
Wait, so I'm really happy that I read it.
I may have missed. I may have missed you say. Did he do anything with like a? Did he try to blow it up, like the "smile you son of a bitch" moment, or is it?
They didn't have a smile you son of a bitch moment.
Anything like that? Yeah. Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
He didn't have a gun. They didn't use the exploding like pressurized scuba tank or anything like that. They were trying to. What did they do? They tagged it with a bunch of barrels, same as they did in the movie, and then they brought it. They started pulling it up after they thought the shark was tired to loop it by its tail and then drag it behind the boat because I guess sharks can't. Because their plan was it would be so tired that it wouldn't be able to resist and they'd be able to drag it in, and that was when it attacked and killed Quint, and that was kind of the end of the book. So
they weren't trying to kill it; they were trying to capture it.
I think capture it to kill it.
Got it. Okay.
But anyway, yeah, the book. I'm glad that I read it, especially since I kind of had the excuse to from us watching all these movies. But I think I would rather. I would recommend the movie 100 times before I would recommend the book. I think the book was a good novelization. It had some parts that were kind of weird, and it diverted from, one of the best known movies of all time in a couple important places. But yeah, I just think the movie is just such a classic, and the book is a fine shark movie or shark book. But the movie is just such a classic. So anyway, that was my.
Oh yeah.
That was my Jaws the book. That was my milk, baby. Yeah.
The milk of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had hoped to play the Jaws board game. It didn't happen. But basically one person, from what I was reading about it, one person plays the shark and the other people play humans. It's Brody or whatever.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a hidden thing where like the person is moving the shark around the board around Amity Island, and there's swimmers about, and you don't know where the shark is in phase 1 or whatever. And then it's like trying to eat swimmers, and you get points for eating the swimmers, and you're trying to find it and throw barrels, or you get to shut down the beach at certain times if you think the shark is there. And once you find it, which I don't know all the rules again, then it goes into a second act where you're like fighting it on the boat at the Orca, and you're rolling dice like and having little battle moments with the shark, and either you kill the shark or it kills all of you or sinks the Orca, and that's the game. Looks like kind of a fun little game, unique style.
Yeah. That sounds pretty clever, actually. Like having a player play the shark. I do like that. Does Hooper fuck Brody's wife in the board game?
Well, only if you roll the 69.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But yeah, let's see, what else did I do? I tried to play Manhunter, which is like a fairly new open world 3D shark game. So it's kind of like GTA meets Sharks, where you go around and you can do hunts and like kill things and collect points, and you have like a skill tree and everything where you get better sonar and better attack moves and stuff like that. And you just go around murdering people if that's what you choose to do. And unfortunately, and it seems to be an issue on PC, it just keeps crashing. I don't know why. It just does not work for more than 10 minutes. And yeah, I don't know. Apparently lots of people have issues with it, so fuck that game. Yeah, that's that. Fuck that game. You know, it's worse because of all the crashing. It's worse than, I rank it lower than Jaws: The Revenge.
Wow. Okay.
I know. It actually seems kind of fun though. It's got good controls and just kind of a open playground of being a shark with modern graphics. So it seemed kind of fun, but didn't get to play it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my half-assed milk of the week.
No, I'm into it.
So I do want to talk about, this is the final episode of Jaws. You know, I want to maybe reminisce or talk about where the franchise could go from here. You know, do you think
kind of like look back on all the good times we've had with Jaws?
Yeah, like this is where the montage would be of flashbacks of us laughing and crying. Yes.
Made together. I don't know any of the words to that song, but you know what I'm trying to do.
I think so.
Vitamin C song that you always hear at graduation.
The graduation song, yeah.
Yeah.
Please,
yeah.
Where could the franchise go? Where could this franchise go, Chris? Do you think you could reboot it fully, just a full reboot, remake of the first one, or, you know, just do kind of a soft, you know, like put Jaws in a new environment, new family, and just do a new Jaws movie? Or is the Shark Attack movie just, you know, just make a new Shark Attack movie like The Meg or whatever? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, The Meg just went bigger, right? It's just a way bigger shark.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, they got a sequel, so it obviously did pretty well.
Huge worldwide
I don't know,
success.
Man.
Crazy.
We talked about this during Jaws 2 because they mentioned Hooper being in Antarctica. And I just can't stop thinking about like a man versus shark movie down there where part of the movie is like the guy on the boat being super isolated. You know, and I think you could get some really cool, like beautiful shots of glaciers and sunsets and like, you know, have you ever seen the Liam Neeson movie, The Gray, with all the wolves?
Yeah.
I feel like you could do like that kind of movie if you set it someplace where people aren't, you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, like he's like stranded on a boat. The whole movie is just a man on a boat and then shark kind of following him around, right?
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
Yeah, something like that.
And I think he would need some sort of like emotional like thing that he's processing to kind of keep the movie moving forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's. I mean, this movie is such a turd. If this is all the ideas that are left with the Shark Attack movie, like,
Oh, well, that's the thing is there's so many Shark Attack movies. Just
Yeah.
like go on Tubi, and there's so many, and it's all because of this movie. You know, the popularity.
Oh, without a doubt.
And like just monster movies in general, I guess. But yeah. So it's like, is the Jaws name? Does it need to move on, or does Jaws exist only with specifically the Brody family? You know, like there's been other decent, like The Meg is a successful shark movie, but it has nothing to do with that. And then there's this one with like, oh god, what's her name? Blake Lively. That's supposed to be pretty good, and it's kind of like a shark movie. Then there's open water, and it's like they're stranded in the middle of the ocean with sharks around them, kind of thing. So yeah, I feel like the Jaws name could be done. You know, let's
What
just
if
let
they
it
did?
be.
What if they did like a prequel movie and it's just called Jaw?
Just Jaws.
Just Jaw. And like maybe the baby
and it's starring Jake. You mean Jaw?
Yes, please. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
I don't know what Peoples is up to these days, but
what if they did it? What if they did this Jaw movie that I'm talking about, and it showed the reason why the shark hates the Brody family so much?
Yeah, there was like an early thing, like his grandparents slaughtered his like the original Jaws' family or something.
Yeah.
Or like that's a great shitty idea, Chris.
I know, right? Or like one of the Brody boys like took a poop off the side of the boat and it got on one of the sharks.
That's even better. And then yeah, so he's got their scent forever.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I've totally taken us off track of what this
was
supposed to be about, but I'm just daydreaming about the movie Jaw, the prequel that establishes why this shark hates this family so much.
Chris, you're brilliant in so many ways.
Oh, I do my best, Tanner.
Brilliant and creative. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, we did talk about a prequel with Quint, right? Where it'd be like,
we did. Yeah.
Like stuck at sea
described
in the military. Yeah. Fighting off sharks and bombs dropping around him or whatever.
Yeah.
Could be cool. But yeah, I think the Jaws name is done. You know what I mean? Like, there can be more shark movies. Like Tommy Wiseau's coming out with a shark movie soon. So,
is he really
it's still alive? Oh yeah, didn't we go over that on Bad Movie Night? It's called like Big Shark or something.
Oh, great. We probably did. You'll have to forgive my memory.
Yeah, it's called Big Shark. And hopefully we get to watch it soon.
Oh, I can't wait, man. Yeah, when's that thing?
Just trash. I mean, really bad. But yeah, as far as Jaws the franchise goes, I feel like it's done. Let it live. Yeah. Let the original live on in peace.
Agreed. But I'm sure they'll reboot it at some point. 100%. You know, they freaking remade The Lion King, so I'm sure some greedy idiot is going to try and reboot this thing. But
yeah, I mean that's why they do that. Is it has the name recognition built in. So
yeah. And who knows when that happens? Maybe we can make a follow-up episode to talk about the new Jaws.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Well, do you want to any other things you want to reminisce about with this franchise? Any closing thoughts or anything?
Fuck Cindy, Team Sandy all the way.
Fuck Cindy,
first
Team
and foremost.
Yep.
Yeah. But outside of that, no, I really enjoyed watching this one. I think it was fun doing Indiana Jones, the last movie series, but I think both of us have seen those movies so many times that I don't know. It was way more fun having all the surprises that came along with.
And the new ones,
2, 3, and 4 of these.
The new movies aren't as like terribly bad as you remembered. Like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and then Dial of Destiny aren't as like just horrendous. It's not like Jaws 3D or Jaws the Revenge.
I liked Dial of Destiny for the record, but yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and this was kind of fun because we got to watch a couple really poorly put together movies.
You really see the franchise get run into the ground and stop.
Exactly. That's exactly it. This one really did get run into the ground, where Indiana Jones might still have a little meat left on that bone. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, do you want to see Jaws like on his own Indiana Jones adventures, maybe?
I like that too. Yeah. So he's like going around solving like mysteries from
underwater
from
mysteries.
Like
he
shows
like
up
Bible
at
mysteries. Atlantis, and
uh-huh.
he would be the one to finally make it to Atlantis. Indiana
Dude,
Jones.
Him and Mutt swimming around Atlantis, solving a mystery.
Yes.
Hollywood, write me a check.
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah, I kind of that's all I got to say. That's it. That's all my
That's
thoughts.
Jaws, baby.
That's Jaws. Hey, you know what they say? That's Jaws, baby.
They do say that. Yeah.
They do. So yeah, why don't you get your little tushes out there and take the survey for this movie?
That's right.
And follow along, watch along. We're gonna do a new franchise next week, and I think we've settled on it. Did we?
I think we have. Do you wanna spill the beans here?
Sure. I'm gonna spill the milk. It's going to be Highlander.
That's right.
Because Chris has no idea what it is, and there's a lot of content to watch through, and it's gonna be fun. And the movies get really bad after a classic start. So yeah, Highlander it is.
Can't wait.
Everyone have a good day. Take the survey, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.